Hey, you. Today's episode, I wanted to come on here and share with you my journey since I developed my psychic and mediumship abilities and what I learned along the way. And especially some of the beliefs that had to crumble down for me along the process. And I thought this would be a great story to share with you all. Um, so, those of you guys that don't know me, I'm Brandaleen Johnson, and I am a psychic medium and educator. My most passionate thing is to teach you guys psychic and mediumship development through my Awaken program and my mentorship, because becoming a psychic medium for me changed my entire life. It changed my entire identity. It changed the path that I went down, was going down to where I'm at now. So some of the things that changed for me was, number one, the very first thing that changed for me was I used to think that fairies were make believe. I thought it was super cute that my daughter was into fairies and I bought her little fairy books and stuff. I thought they were make believe, but that was the very beginning of the massive process. Now, mind you, I've always been kind of spiritual. I was a Reiki master since 1998, before people were really talking about it. Um, so I was already into like some of this stuff, but wasn't having psychic experiences. And then I went through the woods in northern Michigan, and that's when I now know that I went through a portal and I was inside of some sort of fairy realm. And at that time, I didn't believe in fairies. I thought they were make believe, but at that very moment, I was like, something is watching me from the woods. There's all these different types of beings. I couldn't see them, but I could feel them and I could sense them, and the air changed. Everything. It was pretty crazy. So that was the first thing, is that there are other beings, right? There's fairies, and that blew me away. Another thing that really changed for me is because when I dove into my spirituality, and all of the things that you learn are about energy, about setting intention, right? The power of intention, the power of your words. Then I started looking at that word witch. And that was a bad word for me. Like, I didn't want to call myself a witch. I didn't want anybody to think I was a witch, right? My husband at the time, he's my late husband now. Um, if I would have used that word, he would have really lost his mind, because he was already really judging me very strongly when I started developing my psychic abilities and when I could start speaking to the dead. And I wanted more than anything to share with him these experiences that I was having. But certainly, if I would have used the word witch, even for myself at that point, I probably wouldn't have gone further along the path. But that's what's changed for me, is because you look at it and it's really, what is a witch, right? It's somebody that's very intentional, someone that knows how to work with energy and the moon, someone that works with energy in order to set intention. So maybe they use candles, right? Maybe they speak the word, maybe they do different casting of spells, right? Not necessarily, and it's all about who you are, right? Like, let me back up a second here. So for example, let's talk about money really fast so that I can help you guys wrap your head around what I'm talking about. So money only makes you more of who you already are, right? So a lot of people are like, if people have a lot of money, then they must be greedy or evil. And that's not true. That's just a belief that we've been told. So it just makes you more of who you are. So same thing with the terminology witch, right? Learning how to work with energy just makes you more of who you already are. So if all of a sudden you decide you're a witch, you're not all of a sudden be casting spells and having voodoo dolls. You're not going to do that, because magic, all this magic just makes you more of who you already are. And I know you're watching this, and I know you're a good person, and I know you want more than anything to help people, right? If you're watching this or listening to this, I know you want to help people. So learning to develop your psychic and mediumship abilities is what's going to help you do that, right? But so anyway, along the path, I became familiar and okay with that word witch. I still don't call myself a witch, but what am I doing? Witchy things, right? And then something else came along. It's like really wondering, who is God, right? That was a big thing for me, because here, we're raised or we're taught a certain way about, if we do bad things, we're going to go to hell, right? So I wanted to know, who is God and where is hell? And the thing that helped me along my journey understand that for me, right? And I do not judge any of you guys for what you believe, right? Because if you guys have been watching me recently, I got really attacked on Instagram for talking about universe during prayer instead of God. And like I got pummeled with hate. It was crazy. So not just because of that, but it doesn't matter what you believe because this has been a journey for me and I support you all y'all in your beliefs. But for me, what I had to do to wrap my head around what I was taught, right? Versus these experiences that I was having as I'm a psychic medium now. I'm talking to dead people, okay? So then of course you're in a question, where is the dead person? Oh, are they in hell? Are they in heaven? Are they in the middle? Are they earth? Are they an earth spirit? It leads you to ask questions about your reality. And so where I am now and how I wrapped my head around it was bridging science with spirituality. So I'm talking quantum physics, infinite intelligence. I'm talking frequency, right? I'm talking the spectrum of light. I'm talking dimensions here. So when I understood it that way, so now I see God as quantum physics, as infinite intelligence, as all of us are equal to this being, right? Or intelligence. Each one of us is that. And then I don't believe in hell at all. I believe in frequency. I believe in dimensions. Are there such thing as demons and stuff like that? Yes. They're very few and far between. They're think of it this way too. Think of a ladder, right? The whole ladder exists. There's the top of the ladder, there's the bottom of the ladder. And now imagine that ladder is frequency, right? So at the top of the ladder, we're very high vibrating, we're very love and light, we're very conscious. The lower part of the ladder is really dense, it's really fear-based, and it wants to feed itself, right? So the lower level people, even humans, right? They're jerks because they want to create chaos so that they get food, so they get energy. So that's how I believe it to be. The bottom of the ladder you would consider hell, and the top of the ladder you would consider heaven, but it doesn't, there is no end. But as we evolve, we come up that ladder, right? Like I wasn't always who I am today. I've been evolving, stepping up that ladder, stepping up into different frequencies. So that was another thing. And me understanding that each one of us is a particle in that infinite intelligence. So you guys have probably heard the saying or the belief that God is experiencing itself through all of us. And I have a video on my YouTube. I think it's called God is a Disco Ball, or it's called My Disco Ball Theory. So you guys could go watch that. And it's all about explaining how each one of us is a sparkle on that disco ball. And we all add up to the disco ball, which is God. Because God wants to experience itself through us, right? And then another thing that changed for me too was like my belief in what like aliens were, right? Again, it's a frequency. Just like, so in the beginning of this recording, I talked about, I dove right in because the freaking fairies came to me. So then I knew that there's these other beings, and I have the gift of sight to see the fairies now, which is the most amazing. It is so amazing for them to bless me with the gift of sight to see them, because the fairies are very particular about who they let see them. You have to be really good at heart, and you have to care for our planet. So anyways, same thing with the aliens, right? We're all from different realms, maybe alternate realities, different lifetimes, different DNA structure. And I'll talk about that in a minute too. So a lot of people in my industry communicate with, we call them light beings, or aliens. We call them light beings. They actually channel them, right? There's the light language. If you guys have a few episodes back, I had somebody on here that speaks light language. It's a whole different language. It sounds bananas, but it's really cool. So this is like, I love sharing my journey with you all, and I hope you're loving this episode because it's quite the spectrum of where I was as a normal human working in commercial real estate for over 15 years, trying to save my money until I could save my joy till later, but may never come, right? And then I had to leave corporate America. And I think that all that was all part of this journey. And then let's do talk about the DNA structure, because that's something really big that's come through my abilities is we're not just human, right? And I have a little tinfoil hat on right now too, because I don't know why that big trend came out where everybody was getting their DNA tested and then they got their results. But part of me thinks that Big Brother wanted to collect all of our DNA so they could see where we really came from. Because we're not human. We're not all human. We have multiple lives. And I believe we're living them all at the same exact time. And I also believe that when you develop your psychic and mediumship abilities, you're able to elevate each one of those lifetimes and be able to start um, having knowledge from those other lifetimes come into this lifetime. So you come into an awareness that you didn't learn this in this lifetime, but you suddenly know it because it's coming over. But when we're talking about the DNA, we're talking about alternate realities too. So I have the ability to look at you and tell you if you have fairy energy, if you have mermaid energy, if you're an incarnated angel, if you're a Palladian or one of the light beings. Different if you're a straight up witch, right? Just maybe you came from that witch era and it's just like imprinted on you big time. So I can tell if you're super magical, if like you speak a word and it's gonna cast a spell, like because you're so strong in it. And it's because of the compilation of the DNA. Nobody taught me how to do this. It came through my psychic and mediumship abilities, and I can teach you how to do it. It's quite interesting because everybody has a certain appearance. So there's people that I just was doing some like little free readings in our group on Facebook, Your Spiritual Awakening Community. If you want to come into there, again, it's Your Spiritual Awakening Community. And there was even a girl that was like a little elf, like she was a little elfin or something. And I just learned more and more from using my abilities, because this is the thing I love to talk about when I'm teaching psychic and mediumship development in my Awaken program, which you need to take, is developing your psychic and mediumship ability is kind of like algebra. Does everybody remember pre-algebra, right, in middle school, or algebra in high school? And if you are absent one day, that you came back and you were just like could not understand anything, it's kind of like the building blocks. When you develop your psychic and mediumship abilities, you start learning things that there's no way you could have known before, and it stacks on, and then it stacks on, and then you come to a new awareness and a new reality, and then it stacks on again, and then spirit will give you more and give you more and give you more based on what it is that you love, right? Because spirit's not going to take me and then have me I don't know, have beings channeled through me. I'm not really interested in that. I mean, I don't want them to take over my body is what I'm trying to say. And also my voice changes and blah, blah, blah. That they're not necessarily gonna present that to me, because they know that that's not really what I want. But that's how they're gonna work with you. It's like, maybe you want that, and I could help you have that happen in a safe way. But the pure fact that if that's your desire, then spirit's gonna lead you down that path as you develop, right? So this has been my journey thus far. It's been such an amazing journey. I haven't worked for anybody since 2011 because of this experience that I went through, and I've been so passionate about teaching you guys how to tap into who you really are, what you're capable of, and why you came to this planet in the first place. And it is here to create change, right? So I hope you have enjoyed my little story of thus far, some of the beliefs that had changed for me, some of the experiences that I've had along my journey of 13 years of becoming a psychic and medium. And yes, I became a psychic and medium. You are born with the abilities, but you just need to develop into them. So I'm sending you guys all so much love. Send this to somebody that might want to be going on this type of journey, or maybe somebody that's scared to use the word witch, so that they know that it's just a word that we've been taught, and it's really just moving energy. So sending you guys all so much love. Have a beautiful day.